welcome to episode 7 of Daddy's the Podcast. I'm Greg.
And I'm Eric.
And this week, we are doing something different, but something we've been wanting to do for a while, and that is our first exclusive interview episode. This week, we will be interviewing Rob Cipolla of Hoffman's Grooming company. While the conversation is lighthearted and inspiring, the following content may contain sensitive topics or themes that could be distressing to some individuals. Listener discretion is advised. Rob, if you want to say hello and a little bit about your company and who you are.
Hey, everybody. Guys, thanks for having me. My name is Robert. I'm the owner and operator of Hoffman's Shave and Soap Company, Hoffman's Grooming Company. That's what we do. What can I say about Hoffman's and myself? It's really been a crazy journey from Jump Street with Hoffman's. We are the little guy story. We are the Rocky story of the soap and grooming world. We kind of started with nothing. It was a $200 investment. I had no idea what I was getting into. But it's been pretty life-changing.
And so, Rob, what was it about hygiene and soap? Like what was kind of like, this is what I want to do? Like what is your why for this specific business?
I love it. That's a great question. I love the why. Right? The why is always the important thing. What got me into this? It's kind of funny. I went from a fan to full-fledged, balls to the wall, full throttle type business. So how I started was I wanted to shave with a straight razor. That's kind of how I started. I didn't know anything about this world. I didn't know anything about shave soap. I didn't even know what a shave soap was. That's how wild and probably naive I was when I got into this. So basically launched.
And then you went all in.
All in.
Yeah, I went all in and maybe all out.
I mean, honestly, I think your shave soap was the first shave soap that I ever used. And I think the only shave soap that I've ever used still, because I remember you actually, I messaged you on Facebook and I was like, yo, like, do I need to get like a brush? Like, how do I do it? And you're like, oh man, I got you. I'll send you. I got an extra one. I'll send you it. And I remember you sent me one. Yeah.
Yeah. The little brush and the little bowl.
Yeah. You sent me the brush and the bowl and I still have it. It's sitting on I still use it. Like I haven't bought another one because I only shave like once a week. So for me, it's like perfect, But yeah, and then I was like watching videos and I can't remember who it was, but they were like scooping the soap into the dish and I was like just dipping the brush in there. Apparently there's a technique. I know you do a lot of like live videos of you of shaving the right way.
Truth of the matter is, I don't even know if mine's the right way. That's the beauty of shaving. That's the beauty of it. There's no rules. It's kind of like you do what's best suited for you. But the way I started, because I bought a straight razor from a company called Naked Armor, and I didn't know anything about anything, but I'm like, it just looks cool. I want it. And so I get the razor. The razor comes to me. I'm like, all right, now what? I don't know anything about it. Like, I had no idea.
It's funny because guys eventually go through that phase where we're like, oh, let me do some, I don't know, do you call it like maintenance or beauty? That's our beauty. Like beards are our makeup.
Man care.
Man care.
It is. And I mean, you think about too, like you start out, I feel like everyone with like the 100 pack of Bic disposables and you just tear your shit up.
Oh yeah.
And then you eventually move to like something nice. I've never used the straight razor for fear of just accidentally like slitting my throat.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you gotta let go of the fear, brother. You gotta just
Yeah, I feel like that is absolutely it. But I just like I've seen Sweeney Todd a total of one time, and he was killing everybody with that straight razor, man.
Is that the one that you use that you rub on the leather strap to like keep it honed or
Yeah.
sharp or something like
And
that?
it's always,
yeah.
but whenever you see like videos of people using it, they're always super old and they have really shaky hands, and that terrifies me, especially with you being that close to important parts of my body. But I'll tell you what, man, I have only used Hoffman's aftershave. I haven't used any other aftershave. I have a jar of the evil. Is it the evil pumpkin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fan favorite right there. People love
And it smells
pumpkin.
great. Like I have that, and I mean I've been using it for a while, and it's like
Greg, do you give it the Home Alone special when you use it?
just the hands on the face and scream. I'll tell you what, man. So between that and I pretty much exclusively just use the Hoffman's
Wait,
bars of soap.
are you
now.
supposed to aftershave your nuts?
Oh
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rob.
good luck with that.
If you're really into some punishment?
That's a new level of fucking punishment
no.
right there?
no, that's a problem.
Is
right there.
yeah. That's a next
That might
level.
send you to the hospital.
Yeah. You don't want that heat because that's gonna bring. Yeah, you're bringing the thunder when you put it down there. I personally have not, but I could bet the farm that a lot of these guys out there have because
So is that not something? Is that not something that you advertise on the website then for fucking for your stuff?
No, like your boss, man. Like you do what you do with them. Like like.
Sure. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, man. I have never aftershaved my balls.
No. Probably not.
But I will tell you what though. Your soaps, and I'm not just saying that because if your soap dried me out, I would tell you. It's the only soap that doesn't. Like I use it every day. I always have a bar on rotation. And right now I'm using the Apple. Is it Red Hollow?
Oh, that's another good one.
It's good, man. It's really good.
I'm
they
in
go
the
nuts
market.
over
I'm about to be out of soap. So
Yeah?
I need to place an order soon. What do you recommend, Rob? What's your favorite scent for soaps right now?
I'm gonna make that easy for you. Every one of them.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Sure.
No,
I'll have to get a sampler pack then.
I got to work on that. The problem is, honestly, guys, it's crazy, but I'm a one-man show. So, like, I package, I ship, I do customer service, I design the labels, I come up with the fragrance. It's kind of wild over here.
Well, and Rob, that's what I was actually about to ask you next. So, like, how does Hoffman's? I just kicked a Peloton shoe. How does Hoffman's work? So you're literally doing everything, and I know you post a lot of like live videos, and you're like, hey, I've been shipping, for the last 3 hours or whatever, and so kind of like walk us through it. So like you develop so like you want a new bar of soap or a new aftershave or EDP to come out. So what is kind of like how does that work? Like, do you just get a thought in your mind and you're like, oh, I want this scent. How can I make this come to life? Or is it like you have an idea and it might not always be like you get it and you're like, nope, that's not it. Like this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, is that something that happens or?
Oh, there's so much shit that goes wrong from point A to point B. Murphy's Law always kicks in. Always, it's guaranteed. I don't really know how I come up with it. I got to be honest, and I think that's the beauty of it. I don't watch what other people do in a sense. Like I don't look at my competitors and go, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I mean, sometimes I use it as like a barometer just to see what's out there. But anything, I just come up with it. So there's two ways I come up with it. Either A, I find a scent out there that's online, and I search, over the globe for, good scents. Like I go for outside the box. So that's So I either find the scent and I go, all right, now I got to make a theme. I got to make artwork around the scent. So if the scent smells one way and the artwork looks totally different and doesn't make sense to the scent, it's not gonna be successful. So I like to have everything match. It has to make sense. That's the match, and that's no pun intended.
So scent first, then artwork, or is it like,
sometimes.
hey, I have this like badass vision in my head. How can I got this image that I just created. I want something that is going to represent what this is. So is that kind of like, so it's not necessarily scent and then picture. It could be, or design. It could be design and then.
It's actually, believe it or not, it's usually the design first.
Interesting.
Like I have dozens of designs that I haven't even put out yet. I'm always designing labels. I'm always coming up with ideas. And then I go, all right, I have the label. I put it in my back pocket. And then I go and I search and I search and I search and I find fragrances, or we develop a fragrance. We'll make a blend ourselves. And then I go, all right, I got it. Now what artwork am I going to match with it? And then that's kind of how I do it.
So you're kind of like a scientist and an artist.
Full-fledged lunatic. That's what I'm going to go with.
Well, I mean, I feel like, so I think I started buying in October. I think you ran a BOGO buy one, get one. And I think it was October or whenever. And I just remember I was going through this phase where, and Eric knows, I was buying a lot of different, like I was going to a lot of different companies. So there was a certain brand that got me into the game. I'm not going to mention them, just, I don't want to get sued, but everyone kind of knows who we're talking about. And so I think that's what kind of got me into it. But then I went down this rabbit hole of just, I want to just buy. You remember, dude, I was buying.
Greg. So Greg went through, his monthly budget of soap was probably, it seemed like a problem. I'm like, like ballpark. What would you say, right? $500.
It was about $500 to $600, and so I had to start sucking dick for soap, and so
listen, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. $20 is $20.
I know, and
right.
You know what? No judgment. But honestly, it was one of those things where like I think it was October, and I bought I got like 20 bars in, and dude, it was like, oh, this is the shit. And
you'd bring him into work and you would show him off and you go, oh, smell this one. Yeah. And he was like handing them out to
you guys
people.
Looked at me like I was fucking crazy.
I mean, we did, but I'm in the game though. But there was a time where I looked at you like you were crazy, and you got me in because you were like persistent about it. But how does one, all right, I got a friend and they just use Axe, the body gel, body wash.
The 3-in-1. Wash
Probably
your
the
head,
3-in-1.
face, body, and balls.
Right.
So it's like 4-in-1.
How do you change? How do you convert somebody? How would you, sell them on like, this kind of soap? What would you call this?
How do I get the outside world to like what we do?
Yes.
Kind of deal?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a tough sell.
Isn't that the $1 million question?
That kind of is, because it's one of those things you don't get it until you're in it. And then when you're in it, you go, oh, like there's better products out there. I've been using shit forever, so, but it's hard to explain to the outside world that, hey, men can take care of themselves. Men should take care of their hygiene. You look good, you feel good. You feel good, your brain's right. Your brain's right, your life is right. So I just tell them, look, for a guy, you need to have your 20 minutes a day. That's yours. It's yours. Nobody owns it. It's yours. Your boss doesn't own it. Your wife doesn't own it. Your kids don't own it. You own it. It's your time. So that's my selling point.
Well, and I mean, honestly too, like, I think there have maybe been a couple bars where like in the sense were fine, but they just weren't for me. But I would say 98% of the bars I get, I love them, and I enjoy my shower time. And there's nothing better than when I realize like, oh, I haven't showered yet today. So now I get to, because I don't want to. I was going through this thing where I was like taking like 3 showers a day, and my skin was getting fucking just destroyed. It was just wrecked. I was itchy all the time, and I thought it was the soaps, but it turns out it was, standing under hot water for 30 minutes 3 times a day. That'll do it to you.
Dry you out.
It'll dry you out.
That can be a problem. But yeah, I get it.
And so Rob, for somebody who, and we will, so this episode when it's airing, so everyone listening now, it's airing, but there is going to be a link. So as you're listening, go to the post. There's going to be a link for that links you directly to Hoffman's Grooming. And so, Rob, for someone coming in for like their first time buying, is there any like promotional codes that you offer, or is there like what would be the best way for them to get started buying?
Yeah, I'm like a code whore. I got promotional codes all over the place. I'm like, I don't even remember having this one. But yeah, so like they can use Hoff New 20, right? So and that takes 20% off your first order.
Okay, then now
that's the code most people use.
Now, is that the one that also people sometimes abuse? Listen, everyone, first order only. Like, don't take advantage of the.
It only works on your first order.
Yeah. They love doing that, man. They find a way. By the way, I'm like, how are they?
We know your tricks. They're probably using VPNs to change their location to get through. Don't be a decent person. Like, don't do that. Now, Rob, I do have to ask. Maybe eventually like a nice Soap Daddies code, or maybe a collaboration bar at some point.
Promo code Soap Daddies.
Yeah, no. Oh, listen, I'm up for that.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, fun with that.
That would be. I think.
Your own scent.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, we'll collab. I mean, to be honest, I haven't done a collab.
Let's do it.
I did one back in the day, but that's a long, complicated story that I don't think I can put on air.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think. Okay. Well, then I think that's gonna be great. And I do have to ask though. We were at Burger King yesterday. We were eating lunch, and we were talking about like how these interview questions were gonna look. But then one thing that we how long does it take for a bar of soap to truly, like, after it's made, to like really just kind of sit there and cure before you can actually use it? Because I've heard like 1,000 different takes on it. Is there like a legit science in the curing process?
4 weeks generally is a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
Here's the problem with me in that is because I'm always coming up with new stuff, and my customer base, they always want new, and it's kind of my fault because it's I'm a big fan of variety. I'm a big fan of bringing new in. So when you bring a new bar in, the problem is it's on the softer side, but everybody wants it now. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like you kind of have to make bars in advance.
You got to know what people are going to want in 4 weeks from now.
And unfortunately, I feel like that's like just a real, like, I mean, it's guesswork. I feel
impossible.
Like, yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Right.
It is. It's almost impossible. And, listen, the soap bar community, man, they are committed.
I keep trying to get Eric to join all 100,000 soap groups that I'm a part of.
I can't keep up, man.
Boy.
I can't keep up either. I'm active in 2, and then the rest, it's just like, but also you can get into some good ass drama on those soap groups too. Ooh. So they giveth and they taketh the fuck away as well.
Really?
So yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you gotten kicked out of any?
I have gotten kicked out of a few.
Boy.
Not your group, Rob. I feel like that's the only one where I really like. Everyone's not a dick.
Our group's fun. Our group is.
It is fun.
Our group is. It's fun. It's pretty much drama free for the most part. And it's tight knit. So like it's almost like a family. Like it's so funny. Like sometimes over the internet, you're gonna get the trolls, man. They're out there.
Oh yeah. And
the trolls. I get them all the time.
Sure. And you know what? Fuck them. You know. But honestly, Eric, join. I'm gonna send you an invite. Join the group.
All right.
And then I'm gonna tag you in a shit ton of stuff, so that way you have to participate.
Okay.
You have to.
Man, you may need therapy after this, but good luck with it.
I'm gonna come out a changed man.
And so, Rob, I also want to talk about, because I know you do hair care as well, and I know you're currently reformulating from a shampoo bar and a conditioner bar to an all-in-one. Is that still on the table?
Still in the works. And the reason being really is the shampoo bars were a little bit on the softer side. I like it that way because it feels like creamy, feels like a butter. But, you know, and then you get other people who don't like, as I say, it's too soft. And then you get other people who are like, oh, I love it. You know, so it's so hard to gauge what everybody likes and doesn't like. So I was like, all right, listen, you know, I don't want everybody to drop $28 on 2 bars when I can give them 1 bar for like $16, does the same thing and less effort. You know, you don't have to mess around with 2 bars. So that's why I was like, all right, we're gonna do a hybrid.
I actually like that idea. I was using shampoo bars for a while, and then I switched back to the liquid just because I don't know if I was using the same bar for too long and it started to dry my hair out. Like I try not to shampoo and condition. So I'm curious to see how the shampoo and conditioner all in one work. Because I heard you're not really supposed to use shampoo every day. Is that accurate? Or is that just pseudoscience?
I got to be honest, man. So much stuff that you hear out there is bullshit.
That's fair.
You just don't know. You don't know what's truth and what's reality. So what I tell people is just do what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like when guys shave, right? And they shave, you know, with a straight razor. You know, there's so many different techniques, different angles. I tell people do whatever you're comfortable with, and then you know, and then you can't go wrong because you're happy. Right.
There's going to be a ton of people that are happy using a 2-in-1, and they will be just fine.
Well, and then you hear too, like if something has fragrance remember I went down that rabbit hole where if it wasn't natural fragrance or whatever, I was like, nope, gonna get cancer and die. So can't use
you
it.
were trying to wash your hair with just 2 rocks or something. Like you were gonna get down
clay.
to just the.
I remember I was using like toothpaste without like fluoride, and I thought my teeth were gonna fall out. Like I'm all for the whole healthier and natural thing. But like some things I just like, I don't have the time of day to worry about everything, you know?
Well, I know that there's a big group of people that in this, for like the soap stuff, it's plasticless. You know, like they ship them, they're shipped in cardboard boxes, and you're not wasting a plastic bottle every single one of these. You know, I bought a bottle of soap and there's no plastic going out the door. I know that that's a big appeal for some people.
And like, you know, I know.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
I think it's because it's like, think back to like the K cups too, where like, oh, the K cups are going to litter a landfill for the next 100 million years or whatever, you know? And I think like people want to have a more kind of green footprint.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I don't care as much. I do like the idea of something where I can just throw it away, but I guess you can throw plastic out too. I mean, I like the idea of cardboard. I don't care. Like, most soap comes in a box, you know, it comes in that cardboard box. I actually really dig your boxes, Rob. And once again, I want to reiterate, Rob is not, we are not being paid by Hoffman's to you know, but it just really is good stuff. And so, you know, I like the artwork. I like the boxes. I actually save all your boxes. And what I want to do is I want to cut the fronts off and make like a little binder that just so that way I can like put notes under them, you know, because I don't remember.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So if you, I have to send you, Rob, I'm going to text you a picture of my under my sink after this, and there's just fucking soap boxes just littered that I haven't had the time of day to go through and deal with.
Do some scrapbooking.
I'm going to do some scrapbooking. Yeah, I'm going to go on Amazon and I want to cut the fronts off, and I want to write little notes under them. And I can't be the only one that I know. I've seen that on the groups. Like people definitely do that, so it's not weird.
No.
Eric's looking at me sideways. He's looking at me sideways.
No, look, I might be looking at you funny, but this is your hobby. This is your thing that you are passionate about.
There are, you know, I don't ask for much in life. I just want some fucking soap. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I want a
what,
healthy
man?
family and some soap. You know, that's
You
it.
know what? Those are easy goals, man. That's nice. That's
You know?
perfect. You know what I mean? Like, keep it simple. I look at it like this. Look, here's the problem with the soap, the soap world. They are very hardcore. They are very dedicated. No, not the problem. I shouldn't say that. That's not the problem. They're very hardcore. They're very dedicated. They want what they want. And I love that because I feel like, all right, they're passionate about it. I want to give them an awesome box. I want to give them awesome artwork. And I want to give them a scent that's going to take them to a different time. Right? Like, so if a scent, like for instance, I got a scent called Superfly. It is a Fahrenheit dupe. Every time I shave with that, it brings me back to my 8th grade dance because I loaded up on it.
Yeah.
Like
So
absurdly too much.
whenever I see, and Rob, I'm going to need you to school me on this. So I always see like a dupe of something. So is it literally just kind of produced to it literally mimic that scent? Is that like whenever I see like because I don't know a lot of like colognes and I see like, oh, this smells like it's a dupe of this cologne, but I don't know what that cologne smells like. So I always buy it just because like I don't know. Like I just started really getting into the whole cologne thing maybe a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that just hasn't been my thing. And I think it's because I get such bad migraines where like with soap, I use it and then within, a little bit, it's just kind of done. Like it was a nice experience and then I can kind of move on with my day. I have my deodorant on, but like I think with the cologne, it obviously stays with you for a while. And I think like with me, it's always just been like you get migraines and it would just trigger them. And it didn't matter. Like,
tricky.
Yeah.
Tricky. You gotta be careful with them because you know why? I load my fragrances pretty high because I know that you guys want a kick, right? And if it's weak and if it generally smells more like perfumer's alcohol than the actual scent, I'm not down with that. I want you to smell what you're paying for, right? So I load heavy.
And, well, Rob, let me tell you.
One spread.
No.
Spread.
Yeah, well, so I think Tut is my favorite bar of yours, hands down. It's one of the best bars I've ever fucking used. Eric, have you smelled Tut?
I don't think so.
I have like 3 of them under. I'm going to give you one.
Okay.
So
outstanding.
I got the EDP and
help me out. I don't know. I'm not familiar with an EDP.
Yeah. So what is the difference between an EDP and like a perfume versus a cologne? Rob, can you kind of like, is it all the same thing?
You know what, really, my opinion, at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. It all matters about the fragrance.
Yep.
Right? So an EDP is an eau de parfum.
Okay.
I just hate the way
it's French.
Yeah, right.
You said that well, though.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
I'm not that guy. I'm not good with words, right? So but yeah, when I first got into it, I was the same thing. I was like, there's jargon in the industry where I'm like, what does this mean? What's an EDP? What's an EDT? What's SOTD? Do you guys know what SOTD is?
Is that scent of the day? Is it? Please tell me it is. Then I've had that right for the last like
suck on these dicks.
It's one of the two. What do we got,
Rob?
Rob?
A different podcast, but yeah.
Is it scent of the day?
It is shave of the day.
Fuck. God damn it. For like the last 2 months, I was like, oh, the scent of the day. How are you? Why is it just a fucking bar of soap? God damn it. Okay. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's not to be fair. They might have SOTD for scent of the day, but in the groups that I'm in, it's shave of the day. That's how I got started. So I think I want to, if I can I give you a rundown of how this thing got to from nothing to this? I think
yes, please do.
I could do it pretty quick and pretty accurate.
No, take your time and let's hear it.
So I got a Naked Armor razor and I bought it. It was like $170 and I loved it. And it was pretty and it was nice and it was all black and I just loved it. It was just mean looking. So I'm like, all right, I got a razor now. What am I going to do? What do I do with it? So I'm like, so I joined a group. That's what I did. I joined a shaving group. And then I see all these guys taking photos of soap. It looks like a tub or like aftershaves. And I'm like, what in the, and their razor, like propped up. They had props, special lighting. I'm like, whoa, this is something interesting. I started asking questions. I was like, what is this about? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And then one guy, his name was Mike, and I haven't seen him since, sends me a message, and I did my first shave of the day. I put my Naked Armor razor out. I was so proud. I was like, look at me. I'm badass. Guy sends me a message. Hey, listen, I know you're new in the community, but just giving you a heads up, that razor's shit. He's like, if you're going to be big into this, he's like, invest in the proper stuff.
Oh, so he actually called you out for the razor.
Yeah, and I was like, at first I was like, dude, this guy's pissing on my Cheerios.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But then I was like, okay, you know what? Let's see what he's talking about. So then I went further down the rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, all right, so these guys use shave soap. All right, what the hell is shave soap? I had no idea. Most of the outside world has no idea what a shave soap is. So I was like, all right, I don't know what shave soap is. I did my homework, blah, blah. Long story short, I ended up buying shave soaps from all my competitors. But they weren't my competitors at the time because I had no idea I was even getting into this.
Mm-hmm.
So you just went all in, like just trying.
Just trying everything.
Yeah.
I was hooked like everybody else. I was hooked. I had the bug, right? So, and then I'm like, I look around and I'm like, I got like 80 tubs of soap.
Jesus.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And I'm like, and then I got like, I don't know, 40 brushes. And I'm like, okay, if I bought all this shit, somebody else must be too. And
sure.
I was like, I want that. But so I was like, I need to get into this. So I kind of went in blind. I said, all right, I need to find somebody to make me shave soap. So I couldn't find somebody to make me shave soap. I didn't know how to make shave soap. That's all I cared about was shave soap. But I was like, all right, well, I don't know anything about shave soap. I can't get anybody to help me. I got to somehow get into this industry. So I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to sell bar soap.
So
that's
well. So the shave soap is a. Are you supposed to scoop it, or are you supposed to shove the brush in there? I definitely did both, but I don't know which.
You could do both.
Oh, can you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like doing it in a bowl. So scoop, put it in a shave bowl. Take your brush, put it on hot water for like, I don't know, 60 seconds, and then lather up.
Yeah, so I feel like I definitely have been doing it wrong. I need to watch like fucking YouTube videos, honestly, because I feel like
you're gonna do it wrong.
You know what? If I learned anything, is the way that you're doing it is a good way to do it, Greg.
Thank you. I need to like go watch some fun. It worked. I mean, it lathered.
Did it remove hair from your face when you shaved?
Okay, look, I up until like a month ago just shaved with nothing. Like
Jesus Christ, you are not
I raw dogged it.
No.
I raw dogged it every single fucking time.
I can't believe that.
Like that was my shit, just raw dogging. Well,
no, that's what I did too. Before I got into this, I used to use Gillette, like the Mox or the
Oh yeah,
infusions.
yeah.
I would literally just wet my face and do it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like and like when I shave, so Rob, you're heavily tattooed. I'm heavily tattooed. Like I shave my arms. I shave my legs because when they got tattooed, they were shaved and then the hair fucking grew and weird. Like I feel like legs and arms, I don't use any. I'm not lathering up a brush for my arm just because I don't feel like it. Like I'm just shaving that in the shower with water. But my face and like neck, now that I've started using some sort of something, I don't think a lube. Yeah. I can't go back to just dry dogging it.
Dry dogging.
I need to wet dog it. Yeah.
So you use a lot of neck lube is what you're saying?
I use a lot of neck lube. And I can't, confirm nor deny if the shave soap is good for other types of lube.
No judgment, man. No judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Please don't. But we were talking too, like I need to place an order. So Eric, you can
I piggyback?
You can piggyback. That's fine. That way we don't have to make Rob ship 2 out.
Right. Save you a little work.
It doesn't bother me either way, guys. I'm chipping all day long anyway. It doesn't matter, man.
And Rob, so you're based out of Jersey.
Yes, I'm based out of New Jersey.
So like, are you closer to like the New York side?
No, I'm like down near the Jersey Shore, about an hour and 15 from Manhattan. So I'm not that far.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out like, so we're obviously in Delaware. So trying to, I mean, you're close, so trying to figure out like how close, like.
I'm a dirty Jersey boy, all through and through.
Yeah. Born and raised.
No, I was born in Brooklyn and then New York, and then I went to New Jersey like everybody else. So now I live down in South Jersey, and I like it down there. It's fun, but
isn't that South Jersey versus North Jersey?
Yeah. So wait,
debate?
Is South Jersey the clean Jersey and North Jersey is the dirty Jersey? Is that the?
No, it's all dirty Jersey.
Is it all just dirty Jersey?
Oh yeah, I'm a pool player. Like I'm an amateur pool player. I play in tournaments all over, and so sometimes we'll go into Philly and play in Philly in major tournaments, and they give you your tag and your badge, and so I remember being in a tournament and they saw my tag and they were like, and I said, why? They're like, you're from Jersey, and I'm like, yeah, and they were like, dirty Jersey, and I'm like,
what's the joke I always use on my sister-in-law? I say, what's the difference between a Jersey girl and trash? A trash gets picked up.
Well, I mean, honestly, okay, look. So if we go to concerts, like Eric and I, our concerts are typically in Philly or we're going to Camden.
Yep.
Because that's just the closest place. In Delaware, we have, I think, the Queen in Wilmington. Rob, I don't know if you're familiar with Delaware at all, but
not really, to be quite honest. No.
Yeah, well, you're not missing a whole.
Not a lot of people are familiar.
Yeah,
it's that. I've heard that.
Dirty Delaware. Delaware ain't that great either. But when we go to concerts, we always go, and honestly, I feel like I always either drive through Philly to get to Jersey by taking, what is that? Is it the Benjamin or is it the Walt Whitman Bridge?
Yeah.
Not the Walter. I was thinking the Walter White Bridge, but he doesn't have a bridge. And then, I mean, I feel like
we take the turnpike through Jersey,
and Jersey is weird because the left lane is just for passing, right? Like you can't
you're not
camp
supposed to
in the
just
left
drive.
lane.
Yeah, you're not supposed to just drive in the left lane. I love that.
Pass on the left. If you're driving like an elderly person, you stay to the right.
Mm-hmm. And that's law in Jersey, though, right? Like you get pulled over if you're just. Is that true? Like they'll pull you over, or you're just don't fucking do it.
New Jersey is a weird state with laws, man. We have strange stuff that goes on in this state. It is pretty corrupt over here, I gotta say. And New Jersey is pretty corrupt.
But I'll tell you what you do have. Jersey has some of the best music to come out. There are a lot of good bands that come out of fucking Jersey.
Really?
Sure. I can think of a couple.
I'm not even a band guy.
No,
I can't. I'm a music guy, but I can't. You won't see me at like a concert. I was just never, because unfortunately I can't sit still.
Sure.
So
What's your poison? What do you like to do? What music?
What's my vice or my poison?
I guess both.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I would say my vice is honestly playing pool, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Just being in the pool scene is when you're in it, it's just like the soap, man. It's the same deal. You get in it, So that's probably my vice, is playing pool.
Now, let me ask you. So the only time I ever play pool is literally at the Outer Banks when the house there's always a pool table in the basement, And now, how hardcore are you? So Eric and I know some people where you'll go and play pool and they're like, nope, can't play because it's not regulation. So if you're are you super strict about it, or are you cool to just let's just shoot some fucking pool on whatever we have? You know what I mean?
Depends on the environment, to be quite honest with you. Right now I play pool in so many different places. I play in a retirement clubhouse right now as well as my league. And that's the most fun for me. Mm-hmm. Because it's pure. There's no arguing. There's no betting. There's no violence. There's no drugs. There's no.
Wait, is there all those things in the other ones?
Is pool that lit? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Pool is taboo for a reason. Pool players are assholes.
Wait.
Asshole.
Do you want to start playing pool?
There's like pool sharks, right?
Yeah.
Like that'll try to take you for your money, right? You play them, you go to a pool bar.
Yeah, how true is that?
I am that guy.
Okay. All right. So we know not to play
Not
pool
anymore.
with you.
Not anymore. I avoid it. But once in a while, you get somebody in a pool hall and they're playing and they're running their mouth against you, and you're just like, all right, listen, let's stop the talk. Let's put the money on the table. We'll play for a set. Set for 50, set for 100. Winner takes it. Put it on the light. Got to put it on the top. Can't give the money to anybody else. Got to put it on top of the light. And so pool's hardcore.
Yeah, it sounds
and
hardcore.
It's taboo. It's very taboo. It's very I tell people it's not really a place to bring children.
Wait, I kind of want to go to like a pool hall.
Right?
Oh yeah, you see things there. You go, whoa.
I just imagine that every fight will just result in somebody breaking a pool cue over somebody else.
Just like every.
You know what? Always the fights are usually just pushing and shoving and a lot of barking, but no bite.
Okay,
that's fair.
In that way,
that's
but pool, but like I said, it's an aggressive game, and it's when it's done right, it's beautiful. It's like poetry.
I love playing pool. I'm not very good at it, but here's what I want to do. I want to take a couple edibles and go to a fucking pool hall
and just watch
and just take it all in.
I wouldn't want to play though in front of people that are very good.
Edibles and pool usually don't mix.
No, is that not the look?
Well, no. Oh no, everybody does it. Oh my God, everybody's high as a kite when they play pool.
Wait, okay, all right.
Oh yeah, I mean, but when you're playing pool and you're on an edible, your timing's off, your speed's off, your eye is off, your focus is off, and that's the hardest part is focus.
Well, I feel like it's like when I'm not encouraging people to get high and drive, but if you've ever driven while after consuming an edible or smoking, you feel like you're speeding, and then you look down and you're going 5 miles an hour, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm doing the complete opposite of that."
Oh yeah. You're in the gummy time warp.
Yeah. And edibles too. Like that's a dangerous game to play. You take one, it doesn't kick in right away, so then you're like, "Oh, well, let me have another," and then that first one starts creeping in, and then that second one, and then you just die.
Do you know what they call me whenever I go and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take an edible. I can only ever take half. So they just call me halfer.
Are you a halfer?
I'm a halfer. I can only ever take a half.
I mean, what's a half? 2.5 or what's an average? 10 milligrams, I think.
I've got 5s and I've got 10s. I can only go for 2.5. Like that's as much as I can handle. What are those?
Don't they make some that are like they're like these little like stars of death or whatever. And they're like 200 or something, where like it might be the last edible you ever take.
Well, here's the deal with that, right? So look, I take edibles to be I suffer from very bad anxiety.
Okay.
And I suffer from ADHD. I suffer from depression, unfortunately. So for me, I tried antidepressants. I tried it all. And every one of them made me worse. They made me worse. And I was like, wait a minute. So, and so I was like, I'm going to try edibles. I take them. I honestly just take them if I know I'm going to be in a socially awkward situation, like, or around a lot of people. I take it because it just levels me out. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get me like loopy.
That's how I am. I feel like I went through a period, and I went through a period of really bad depression, and I feel like I had anxiety for a good bit for about 5 or 6 years, and the anti-anxiety medication I was taking just made me feel such out of body. It made me feel weird, and it didn't do anything. It just made me, and I felt like I couldn't function or exist without those. Like without having a pill in my pocket in case so I feel like edibles or hitting a vape pen or whatever for me helps so much. And like I suffer, I get kidney stones a lot, and I would rather weed than Percocet or Dilaudid or you know, taking a narcotic, you know,
because it's not, it's, you know, it's, it's far less damaging to your body.
Sure.
And I also believe that it helps with a creative level.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
How much music would we have if there were no drugs?
Oh,
we would have none.
No music.
No music.
Good music.
Yeah, it would just be all really terrible music. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I feel like it's definitely it definitely has helped me, and I feel like so, Rob, some of your designs and like your soap creations is it ever like you know, you're
This one was made on a trip.
okay, so because I have to ask, so I think Daydreams is like the cotton candy-esque, like with like a hint of it's so good. And Eric, I gave Eric a bar, and I think you used it all.
It's amazing.
And I have the deodorant on actually right now.
Oh, let me smell.
Come smell my pit. Because also gotta push, your deodorants are nice and fucking creamy. Eric, you gotta get some when we do it, or to get some. They're creamy. They're really just fucking solid. But I know when you released the Daydreams deodorant originally, you were like, oh, I think you only put out like 10 or something. And it's so fucking good. But so that scent, that one is that kind of like, what's the story behind that one?
Was that gummy related?
So yeah, like what's the story behind that one? Because I find that one I think all your scents are really unique, but like you have, what is it, affogato, which is like coffee. Cookie Monster, right. It's pretty self-explanatory. It smells like a fucking chocolate chip cookie, which I have one. You need to smell that before Isla takes it, Eric, because she's gonna grab that.
Cookie Monster is one of my favorites. It's great in a bar. Yeah, it's a fun one, man. It's a fun one. As far as Daydreams goes, look, that's a special one for me because I've had ADHD my whole life, and I have it pretty bad. Like, I lose shit left and right. I forget things. I have every ADHD symptom you could possibly imagine. I got them all. And so for my whole life, people, they think, oh, if you have ADHD, you're lazy. And it's like, no, my brain's just wired differently. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think the way you think.
I feel like, and that bar, I feel like is a perfect example of it. Like, it really is a good, it's so out there. When you said it was coming out, I thought it was like, because it's an elephant sitting on a mountain. Is the
elephant sitting on an iceberg?
On an iceberg,
right. And he's just staring out at the space and looking at balloons.
And so after we're done this interview, I'm going to bring all of my Hoffmans down. We're going to go through. We're going to place an order. But when you said that sound was coming out, I was like, "There's no way I'm going to dig this. Like, it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be for me." Because what is that? Like the black licorice scent? It's
It's anisette. So you're getting anisette at the back end of it, right?
And it just works. It just works. Yeah. And to anyone listening, one of the best bars, Rob, I don't know if you still have that one available.
Oh yeah, I do.
And it is so good. So and I want to ask you too. So someone orders something from you. So do you keep everything in house? Do you have an inventory in a warehouse, or you have everything just ready to go? You pack it up and you ship it out.
Oh man. How can I best describe it? Where I live, it looks like Breaking Bad right now. Yeah, like if you walked in, you'd be like, "What the fuck is this guy up to?" You're seeing, product. You're seeing, liquids. It's organized, but it's all over the place, right? So, I ship out of here. I ship where I live. So I'm around this 24/7.
Does it smell really nice in there?
Yeah, or is it is it too much? Is there like multiple conflicting? Because you're always smelling it, right? So I feel like
that's the hard part.
Yeah,
you're scent eventually. Your nose plays tricks on you, right? But for me, I'm lucky because my mother has OCD to a level like you've really never seen.
Yeah.
And she's got a nose like a fucking bloodhound. You know, I remember like I'd walk in from work and she'd be like, "You smell like the outdoors." I'm like, well,
I mean, you know,
it's true. You were outdoors.
I was that. That's true.
I was outside. I don't know what you expect. I mean, did you want me to smell like a bakery? I mean, I was outside. Right. So luckily I have my mother's nose. Like I could smell things, and I'm always clogged, but I could still smell pretty well. But a lot of people in the industry, if I've heard, you know, they can't smell anymore. Like, because they've smelled so much stuff over their time.
Wow. And I'm not, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. That would be, I think, devastating.
That would be upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that you got like a nose ticker? Like you've only got a certain number of nose sniffs?
Sniffs before your nose just fucking expires?
A maximum amount of scent coming through the nostrils?
Scents, you know, it's funny too, man. Scents are so subjective. And you just never know if someone, if you guys are going to dig it or it's like, it's really subjective. So what I do, and what I think a lot of other people don't do, is I put the scent notes on everything.
Sure.
I want you to know exactly what you're getting. I don't want you to buy, and that's why I don't get really returns. I don't get a lot of people that contact me like, I didn't like this scent. It's rare.
Well, and I feel like too, like, I mean, What bar did I just get? I got the Jersey Devil.
So good.
It was it is. I just finished that one. So I've decided that I'm done rotating 6 at a time. I'm going to commit to one bar and use it for the 8 days, 9 days and run it out because I had too many fucking bars on rotation. Rob, you and I talked about this, I think, yesterday, where there's like, I had like, 20, 30 bars just fucking going. And I couldn't finish them. But then I want more bars. But then I feel bad buying more bars because I still have 100 other bars that are still fucking there.
Just treat yourself once a week. Just scoop a new bar, right?
I think
that cadence.
So Rob, the longevity of a bar, you use the same bar every day. What would you say? 2 weeks, maybe?
I don't know, man. I've had people tell me a month.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. What's the average cost of a bar? Around $7, $8?
You know what? They're all going up.
Sure. Yeah. So say even $9 a bar, even if it lasts 21 days, that, I mean, body wash isn't fucking cheap, you know? So like, and you're getting just a better experience from, like, I feel I used body wash. I think we were on vacation and I didn't want to bring a fucking bar with me or I forgot it. So I had to use like the fucking body wash that the hotel provides. Yeah. And I would rather just not, like, you just don't feel clean. And I also don't like using a washcloth. I know, Eric, you're big on the washcloths.
Big washcloth guy now.
I like that bar going straight on my body.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not a washcloth guy.
Man, so you guys.
It's another thing I'm going to lose.
Oh, man. The washcloth is so nice.
Bar to body.
Bar to body's cool, but then I feel like you need the washcloth to get up in your ass.
No, fuck that. That's what the bar is for. I wash my ass last.
Yeah, but then you're going to put that bar back on your body.
So I actually use your washcloth, and then but you rinse it off. You rinse the fucking bar off, right?
I guess.
But like, what difference does it make? You're using a washcloth on your ass, so you're still going to use that on your body. So what's the difference then if you used a bar?
I still wash my asshole last.
So what's the difference, though?
And then I go wash the washcloth.
With what?
In the washing machine.
Do you only use a washcloth once?
Yeah.
What?
Single use.
No.
Yeah.
See, I'm pretty sure a washcloth is supposed to be used a couple times before you.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, but I put it up my ass. I'm not going to put that back on my body.
Okay, then maybe you're the anomaly because no, a washcloth most things have hooks to hang the washcloth to let it fucking dry.
Yeah, let it dry so you could put it like in your laundry.
No, to reuse it.
Yes, am I tripping?
You are tripping. Rob, is this like, back me up on this? You're not, they're not one and dones. Or are they one and dones?
I'm the wrong guy to ask this question. I'm going to tell you why. Because in my life, I'm very barbaric.
Okay, all right.
Nothing skews me out. Not like I'm like, because I look at it like this, man. Like, our ancestors, they lived in such a shit environment, and they didn't have all the luxury we had,
That's
like,
true.
So for me, I'm not so particular. I'm like, like nothing skeeves me out. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, how do you think it worked? Go back more 3,000 years ago, and your village lives by a little river, right? You drink up at the top of the river, and then what? Then you bathe in the next part, and then you piss in the next part, and then you shit in the next part of the river. Is that how it works?
Well, and so you hear stories though, like how. So I'm pretty sure the way that baths used to work, it would go, you'd fill the tub, the dad would take the bath, and then I think...
Oh, they wouldn't change the bath water.
Well, yeah, so then who would get the dirty water? The children, I think, would get the dirty. They would go, I think it would go like the husband or the father, then the mother, and then the kids. So whoever was youngest...
just got all
you
the
got that nasty-ass dirty water, and so wonder they all died at the age of fucking 8.
Ew.
Yeah. You're bathing in
ass water right
your whole family's ass water.
That's how they grow to be big and strong.
And that's how kombucha is made.
What? Like for me, I'd be like, all right, so what? I'm gonna go in there. I don't I literally nothing keeps me other than bugs. I'm not into bugs.
That's fair.
But other than that, like
that's
for
fair.
me, for me, like if you use the bar of soap and you were at my house and then I had to take a shower, I would never be like, oh, he just used the bar of soap.
Yeah, I can't do that at Greg's anymore. Now that I know,
well, I go to your house and shove your bars of soap up my ass just so that and I don't tell you. So that way,
wait, do you insert it all the way?
All of it. I leave it up there.
Some awkward walking right there.
Do some jumping jacks.
Well, so Rob, before we go, is there anything else that you want to? Is there anything that anything else you want to say? Anything you want to talk about? I don't know if we missed anything, but is there anything that you want the world to hear?
Yeah, that's a good one. What my message really is, and it's really important, and it may sound like hippie bullshit, but number one, I think mental health is something that nobody even talks about, right? Like as far as I don't want Hoffman's to just be a soap company. I want it to be a company that helps people. And what I mean by that is eventually if it becomes a huge, huge thing, I'd love to donate towards like ADHD, mental health, autism, because I have 2 sons that have autism. So that's very big in our shave community, believe it or not. A lot of people in our group, they have kids and family with autism. And I'm like, I like to be the spokesperson of that because, people always, with mental health, people are always, they push you aside if you have depression or anxiety, or you're considered a problem, or, and I just want the Hoffman's message to be that, look, man, if it's okay not to be okay, I
think that's great,
it's
man.
Okay.
I think a lot of times people just assume that it's just, people are just slinging something, without really knowing. I think it's good to
have a cause.
It is good to have a cause, because if not, then what differentiates you from everyone else? I think that goes for anything, the
thing I think, I know you're not asking, but for me, the Hoffman's, the thing is, I think people who buy the product, they realize that they're part of something. And it sounds, again, hokey pokey, but I mean, the messages I get from people are outstanding. They're amazing. And if I never got those messages, I would have killed this dream a while ago. Right.
And that's fair. I mean, just from, and obviously I don't see what you see on your side kind of as the business owner, but, even just the groups, I mean, I'd say 90% of the people in there are sincere, genuine people that actually give a shit.
Phenomenal people.
Mm-hmm, agreed.
Yeah,
and so it's funny I was having this conversation with my wife, Jenna, and she was like, why do you know these people by name? Like, you are shipping you're trading soap like Pokemon cards, and you're fucking doing this or doing this. Well, okay, so my thing is always, if I get a scent I don't like, and everyone doesn't like every scent, like that's just, it is what it is.
That's the tricky part.
And so for me, it's like, well, I'm not going to. You see people selling bars for a lot of fucking money.
I know.
Rob, I appreciate your shit's not impossible to get. So if I'm not on your website at 12 o'clock, I get on at 2 o'clock and still get stuff instead of having to wait a year.
Yeah. Well, that's the scarcity game. I get it. They like to play the tactic. It's a good tactic. It's a great sales tactic.
It works. But it's just like, then I'm not going to then ever try that bar because I'm not going to pay 2x or 3x the cost to buy it from someone else and then pay another $8 to get it shipped to me. So whenever if I'm selling a bar I don't like, or if I like, hey, I need money or I have too many of something, I always sell it at the same cost that I got it for. So if I had a coupon for 20% off, 30% off, I will sell it for the exact cost. And I feel like a lot of people in the community do that. There are the individuals that sell high, which is fine, whatever. And then there are the individuals who, hey, I'll trade you even cost, even swap, whatever. And I appreciate that, because you go on somewhere like eBay, Mercari, you're going to pay the 3, 4, 5x to get something. And I think that's what's so cool about it. Because I definitely, I do be trading soap. I do.
They do it. It's so funny. When I first saw these guys trading soaps in the groups, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I remember you said something about it on one of your Facebook lives. Yeah. You mentioned it.
But it's funny. I had people, but the beauty of it is generally the people ask me, they're like, hey, is it okay if I buy your bar and then I sell it? And I go, well, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Sure.
Because you're kind of cutting in my Kool-Aid, because you bought the bar cheap. You're making more money in the bar than I am. But I do feel like, all right, if it's your product, you bought it from me, you have the right to kind of do what you want with it. So I just tell people, all right, man, listen, just don't undercut me.
And that's fair.
That's all. Right? Just don't undercut me. Like, if you're selling my bar for $4 and I'm selling it for $7.50, they're not going to buy it from me. So I just tell them, just don't undercut me, and just be fair with people.
Well, and I know I felt bad. I think you were doing like a 50% off promo. If for Black Friday you spend X amount, you get 50% off one-time purchase. And I think I messaged you because I was like, hey, like I
remember that. Yeah,
I want candles and I want this. Like, I feel bad. Should I not put stuff in? You're like, no, it's fine. But like, I felt guilty because I'm like, this is a lot. Like, I didn't know what to use that specific 50% promo on. So that's why I was like, dude, like, I don't want to screw you, like I don't want you.
And that's so amazing, right? Because you have respect for it, right? You have respect for the artisan. Here's the funny part about this. I'm not an artisan. I don't consider myself an artisan. I just consider I'm a guy that likes scents and I make labels.
I think that's what I've been calling these soaps, is artisan soaps. Is that?
Well, but I mean, I feel like you hear artisan soaps, but a lot of companies too, like, are just soaps that you just buy in wholesale and then you just repackage them. And so
that's how I got started in this.
Is that the beginning? Like, is that kind of, yeah,
that's stage. It's like the initiation into the business. And I think other guys like 345 Soap, John over 345, he's a good dude. He got into it the same way. He said, yeah, I think that's how I got into it. So I was buying soap from a company called Adams. Anybody that's in the soap groups knows Adams. They know that, okay, they make a good product, but 900 people sell the same bar.
Sure. It's just mass produced.
It's just mass produced. And I get it. And it's a nice concept if somebody just wants to roll over dollars, make a couple bucks, and not really build a brand, right? For me, I was like, I knew that this was just a means to an end. So I was buying through Adams, and I was so impressed with how many, they got like 200 cents. And I was just like, oh, this is enough for a lifetime here.
Yes. Yeah, so are they for those listening that don't know, Adams is literally just like the Costco, the online Costco of any scent you want. And they'll sell the giant loaves, and you can get them for, you get a giant loaf of soap.
Well, for $20, roughly 19, 20. So you're paying $2 a bar. That's usually what happens with I don't know if anybody out there wants to hear that. But oops.
Hey, I think I think transparency is really good, because I think sometimes people don't know exactly where their product is coming from. I've heard there are a couple companies, I'm not gonna throw them under the bus, but there was an issue of, hey, we make all of our stuff in-house, but then it turns out that they didn't, and they were actually buying from an American company. And things like that. I think I don't give a fuck at the end of the day where my soap's coming from. I just like transparency.
Yeah, I just don't want to hear that you were lying about it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't care, but I just think transparency is really good.
So what happened was when I put the Adams stuff out there, I'd give it my own name. I put it in my own Hoffman's yellow box. I missed that box. I got one of them laying around for nostalgia.
Is that the OG? Right? Was it a yellow, That's a yellow?
The box was 3.5 ounces. Okay. So, all right. And again, I didn't know shit about soap. I didn't know about sizes. I knew nothing. I just knew that I had an idea.
Sure.
That's all I knew. I just had an idea.
You got to bring back the throwback.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The throwback.
The throwback box. Yeah, you designed
a yellow throwback.
Like an all encompass, this is the where it all began, the Roots bar,
like a special edition maybe. It's not a bad idea.
But anyway, so sorry we cut you. So I'm really intrigued by the story. So yellow box, super tiny bar,
decent sense. Not what I put out, but decent, meaning it was safe.
Sure.
Blueberry muffin, watermelon lemonade,
sure.
Safe. I don't want to do safe. I want to do a soap where it's going to make you think or bring you to a different place. Or I want you to smell and go, I have not smelled anything like that. Right. So I put the stuff out. I put it out online. I'm still in the shave groups, and I'm not telling anybody who I am. They don't know I'm Hoffman's.
Okay.
And I was I don't want to shit where I eat. Number one. Number two, I want them to buy for the right reason, not just because they're buddies with me, because that was key. I was I wanted it to be real. So I didn't tell anybody this. And then somebody let the cat out of the bag, and I was all right, well, yeah, I'm Hoffman's, and they were so supportive, right? And then they ended up buying my Adams soap, and then I get messages from people, "Hey, is that Adams soap?" And I instantly said, "Yep," because I wasn't gonna lie.
So you told him. If someone asked, you told him. Okay.
I told him right up, no, that's Adams soap. I says, yeah, I don't make my soap. I don't make my soap in house. I don't have the time. It's impossible. So from the beginning, I always felt all right, if I'm going to build this thing, I want it to be as personal as possible.
Well, so, and I think you see, some companies get so argumentative about it. If you ask and fuck you, I make this shit myself. And it's if you don't it's fine. But once again, transparency is really important. And, I think that, or I'm just going to go straight to Adams or any of these other wholesale groups. I'm just going to cut you out then altogether. Then fuck you,
Right. Yeah. And so I knew that Adams was a means to an end. But it took me a while. It took me a year to get to that point.
Sure.
So then I was all right, we're going to get into shave soap. So that's what I did. So I partnered up with somebody in a sense. It just didn't work out. Kind of collaborations. But I created something called Burn the Ships. And I remember it. And I was just I just remember looking at it and going, I got something here. I know it in my bones.
So is Burn the Ships, is that one of the OG kind of?
That's the OG.
Is it? Okay.
Oh yeah, man. That's the Ice Cube NWA of wine, man. Yeah, Yeah, the OG. So so I came out with it and I did the artwork and I had to do the artwork at the 11th hour. Like the printer was like, yeah, I need it like within a half hour. I'm like, I don't even have a name.
Sure.
I didn't have,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, I was thinking about my life and I'm like, and I was in a bad spot. And I was like, sometimes in life, man, you got to fucking burn the ships. You got to burn the ships,
Okay.
tear it down,
It's,
and start over.
that's poetic.
And that's what so my releases, a lot of them have a lot. They're personal for me. They're my diary. A lot of them. I could tell you burn the ships. Yeah, that was my, hey, all right, I got to do something different now in my life because I was working for somebody and I was working for my best friend. And if I'm saying too much, guys, let me know.
No. This is great. I'm
going to give you. You're getting a real.
Well, and this is what we want, and this is, I think, what people really want to hear too. Sure. Is not so. When Eric and I do our podcast, we have a topic, and we bullshit, we talk, but like we want these interviews to be more personal and like really kind of express, because you know what, I think there's a beauty in that vulnerability in terms of like, yeah, this is awesome. So nope, we're just actually sitting back and we're just listening to you.
Well,
and I think
as long as you let me talk, I will absolutely. And I love this, by the way. I love talking about this. This story for me is, Hoffman should have died a year ago. February last year, it should have died. It should never have continued. Right? It should never have.
February. So of 2023.
2023, it should have died. It should never have continued.
Okay.
I was married, and we just it just got bad. It got hairy, and I was forced to leave my home, and it was hard because everything I've known for the last 20 years is gone. I was given an 8x8 box, and they said, "Here, go." Because we were just, it wasn't working.
Did you say 20 years?
I was married 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
20 years, and we just didn't work. Life beat us up.
Sure.
When you have kids with disabilities, it's tough. It's a different animal. Your life is different. And if anybody says different, you're full of shit.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
be
difficult.
real with it.
Yep.
Be real with it. You have to know you're not going to have an easy life. You're not going to be able to do the things that other people can do. Mm-hmm. So anyway, long story short, we didn't get along. I was forced to leave the home. Blah blah blah. I don't want to really get too deep into that, but so my business was, all my product was in my home. I couldn't get to it, and I had to ship orders. Mm. So I had to go through with but legal hoops to get my stuff back. And, and then I had nowhere to live. Couldn't live with my parents because, they're old.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Old people are ornery, man. They're stuck in their ways.
That's fair.
Yeah, they probably didn't want all the soap there too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. Hey, I have a whole bunch of shit I'm bringing in,
Right. And that's what I had to do. I had to take all the product and put it in my parents' garage. Should not have worked. Mm-hmm. We could have failed at that point. I didn't have a place to live. So now I'm running Hoffman's out of motels. I ran out of 4 motels.
Wow.
Which, again, that should not work. And then I was at my parents, and we were, doing, I had somebody helping me, and, it's just became too much for my parents. And I said, all right, we got to make a move here. We got to do something different. So I rented a storage unit. All I needed was power and space, because I couldn't ship out of the motels because they'll never let that happen. So
sure.
I was shipping out of a storage unit for like 3 months. And then, while living in the motels and going through all that. And so the business should have failed because the deck was stacked against me.
Well, and I remember hearing when I guess you got into to your new place, like how shipping used to be, and I would see like, oh, shipping times and stuff. Like how long does Hoffman ship? They're like, now it's it's so quick. So I'm sure
Generally,
that was a hindrance. I can only imagine.
It was because it was so unorganized, right? Because I was given all my product and it was put on a front lawn, not the way it was, not the way I had it organized. So it was on a front lawn. So like like I remember going to my dad's and being there, and we have a good friend, Jimmy, longtime friend from Brooklyn, like a brother to us. I said, guys, I can't do it. I can't wrap my head around this. I can't organize this mess. Can't. And I just had a meltdown, got in my car, went away. I just left.
Sure.
Couldn't, because my ADHD is so bad. Like when I see a mess like that, I don't know how to clean it up. My brain won't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just left, and I came back and they rearranged the whole thing for me.
Wow.
That's nice. Helpful.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine. Because so now I do have to ask, when you do your live videos, you always have your product behind you.
Yeah, usually.
So I just imagine your whole place is now just like every nook and cranny just has some sort of Hoffman's based product. It's
absurd. It's all over.
And I'm always envious because, so I do have to ask though. So like, you use your own soap, right? It's like, don't use your own, but like, so you have essentially unlimited soap.
Well, yeah. I can actually lather up a whole village right now. You bring me an Ethiopian village, I can make them clean.
Oh yeah,
and have leftover stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I always see the bars, and I'm like, damn, I swear, like you just went live yesterday, and there's more behind you now than there was yesterday.
Oh, yeah, there's more outside. I'm letting them. I'm leaving them outside to tighten up. Right. So like, yeah,
got a cure.
Yeah.
So like, so Hoffman should have died last year, but it didn't. I wouldn't let it die because I was like, multiple reasons. One, I was like, it's too important to people other than me. I'm not talking about obviously, at the end of the day, Hoffman's for me was built for my sons. That was it. It was built so that I could provide for my sons when I pass, whenever they would be. There's something there for them. There's some type of legacy. There's something. Because they're never going to be. Unfortunately, listen, I love them to death. I miss them with all my heart. I choke up thinking about it sometimes. But they'll never have. They're not going to be able to. I can't pass them graphics, like a graphic designer, like I'm a web designer, graphic designer, marketing. I can't pass that to them because they're not going to have that skill. Sure. So I can't pass them to them, but I can pass them off.
Well, and I think you have such a large community supporting you as well. So, it's
amazing. I couldn't do it without them. And it's so funny because everybody gets big, but they never thank.
Sure.
They never thank anybody. Everybody's all about, okay, you get to the point, you get big, and you forget about all the little people. And I say this all the time. If Hoffman's ever becomes as big as those fuckwads from Dr. Squatch, sorry guys,
you're good.
But if it ever becomes that big, I want a database. Everybody that's bought from me from now until the beginning, and I'm going to give them free soap for the rest of their life.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, and also
it's silly. It's not huge, right? Like I'm not giving them $1 million, but I want them to be like, here, you have a lifetime access. Anything that comes out, it comes to you for free. I don't even want to think about it. It's just coming to you because that's for me paying back.
I mean, and I think it's things like that make the difference. I would love that. You know what? I also have to say that I really love the candy that you always throw in. That's always a nice little treat too.
Well, because you know why? Because like, where's the soul of just selling something, but it's not doing good for anybody? I mean, yes, it's doing good for people because they're enjoying it and it's making their day better, and that's fantastic and that's great. But that's kind of like fast food, man. I don't want fast food. I want to be able to make a difference. I want someone that, who has mental issues to contact me. I'm not a professional, by the way,
right.
But I've had 4 people over the last couple of years contact me, and I've talked them off the ledge because I know where they've been. I know the darkness.
Well, and I think that alone is huge. Having a community where someone feels so comfortable that like, hey, my life is in a really dark spot right now. And, we all have gone through some shit, and it's really like, I used to always say, like, as a kid, and it was a naive, dumb kid thing, like suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. And now that I'm an adult, like how juvenile that was, that a temporary solution, like how hard life is for some individuals. Some of those problems are lifelong, but being able to address that and talk to somebody and just kind of like, sometimes people just need an empathetic ear. Like that's all that they need. And some sort of someone who has some sort of knowledge and just like trauma to just like, I don't know what you're going through. I used to work in a youth correction center, and people like there were individuals and they would have family members that would die all the time, and they would get angry with the individuals who would say, "Oh, I know what you're feeling." You don't know what I'm feeling. Like you even if you were in a you don't know what I'm feeling, but just lending that empathetic ear, I think is huge, and I think that really kind of just.
You know why? Because I care.
Sure.
I really do. I care.
Yeah.
Because I know where they're coming from. I know exactly where they're coming from. Suicide is a big thing, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm so straight I'm so honest with my stuff, man. Look, when I was in that motel, I was in the motel. I was at a motel, the fourth one. And the one I hated the most, but loved the most at the same time. And there's a story behind it, but I've been in that hotel and I just remember everything was going wrong. Nothing was going right. And I just remember I couldn't wake up. Like I remember being like, oh, it's 1:00 in the afternoon. Fuck, I'm up. Damn it. Like I wasted a whole day.
Sure.
Because I couldn't get myself out of the funk. And it's deep and it's dark and it's nasty. And I just remember being one night, I just remember it was raining, it was pouring out. It was late. I had no food. I was eating because I was trying to really watch every dollar. I was eating like fucking Skippy peanut butter and NyQuil. Like that was my diet. NyQuil helped me make me go to bed. Skippy peanut butter just gave me the protein that I needed. And I just remember one day being in that motel and I grabbed my razor and I was like, all right, I can't do it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's, I think people don't understand too, like that's real life, like that's for a lot of people, that's a lot of the demons that they face. And a lot of people just aren't, because there is still a stigma on the whole mental health issue, instead of like offering the support that
especially if you're a guy.
Yeah. If you're a guy, you can't have mental health issues because that's not a tough thing to do. That's not alpha.
Right.
Well, and I mean, like, as we're in an age now where like both parties typically in most relationships have to work jobs. Like it used to be like only one had to work and you were the breadwinner. And now I feel like it's such different times. But so like there are times when like I'm stressed about money. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, like, how are we going to make ends meet with this bill and this bill and this bill? And like, it eats you up and you're just like, oh, well, shit. Like, but I think you not being able to talk, you're not like, when you try to talk about people, like dismiss you almost,
Yeah. You're a problem.
Yeah.
You're the outcast. You're the black sheep. You don't have it together. And it's like, unfortunately, no, you just have trauma.
Yeah. People just want everything to be all right all the time.
Yeah. And it's okay to, I think, so when I worked in prison, the superintendent always had this saying, and every time she would say something, she was like, you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and having those conversations, because if you don't, like, it's just, there's a quote in the movie Central Intelligence where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is talking about like his stress, and he's talking to Kevin Hart. He's like, oh, I just take it and I just push it down real deep inside. And he's like, I don't think that's good for you. And it's so true. Like, just being able to talk about it, like if something is on your mind and even just talking about it, and it might not fix the problem, but just being able to get it out there is just, sometimes that makes such a huge fucking difference. It really does.
Because you think you're alone.
Yeah.
You think you're alone. Mm-hmm. And that's part of, like, when I talk about therapy, you know, like we call them the Sunday sermons or whatever.
Sure.
I don't have a plan when I talk. I just kind of I go off the cuff, and I just, you know, because I know where they've been. But for me, you know, again, I was in that hotel. You know, I had the razor in my throat. It was by Yuri. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going out with the best razor I got. And I looked in the mirror, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it right here.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But I think, like, it's good for people to hear that. And I feel like probably not a lot of your supporters know that, you know, and maybe they do, but like, I think.
Yeah, I know, because you know why? Because I don't hide from it.
Sure.
I'm honest about it.
Yeah.
Because really there's strength in that honesty, and a lot of people aren't, right? A lot of people like to you know, push the dirt underneath the rug. And I'm the opposite. I feel like the dirt is what you need. Dirt makes growth, right? So, but I just remember being in that hotel, and I just remember looking, and I was ready to do it. And I looked in the mirror, and I said, no, not yet. Mm-hmm. And I said, not yet.
You've still got a purpose.
Yeah.
You're still here.
Well,
you're still here
for a lot of purpose.
Yeah.
The purpose was for me. The purpose was to finish what I started.
Sure.
And that's the same goal it is today, is just to finish what I started. If it fails, it fails. But if it fails, it's going to fail on my terms. And the reason is because I was working with somebody, my best friend my whole life, and known him for 40 years, you know, and we started a company 5 years ago, and, you know, and it did well. And, you know, and then what happened was I have good senses, and I knew that we were in trouble as a company. You know, and I knew that the owner was he was lost with it. And that's another reason I built Hoffman's, because I saw that storm coming. So what I did was I started building when I got into it, I was building it at night and on the weekends, you know, and because I knew that storm was coming. So, you know, last September, long story short, you know, he calls me up. He's like, listen, you might have to start looking for a job. I'm like, what? I was blown away. Like, it was the hardest thing I ever hear. Like, it hit me in my heart.
Sure.
I was just like, man, I built this with you. I built this. I was a vice president of your company. And whether you gave me that title or not, everything went through me. And so that's when I was like, okay, I really have to go full throttle at Hoffman's now. Because if your best friend's going to do that, well, a regular company's going to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So I bet on me. And,
sure.
You know, it's been a long, crazy journey. But
well, I'll tell you what, man, I am definitely happy that you are the first interview that we've done. Because I don't think it gets more real than this conversation that we're having.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I held back. Actually, I held back.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. Like, and I appreciate you, and I wanted you to kind of come on first because I know you would be understanding. So, for those of you listening, Eric and I started this podcast about 2 months. It's been an idea that we've had for a while, and at this point, Eric and I both work full-time jobs, but we are as close to being all in on this as you possibly can. Right. In terms of like, we're throwing everything all of our time is dedicated to this outside of work hours, just because, we're not in the profitable world.
Yeah, what did we say? We're
in the P&L world.
We're all
L
and no
P yet. But we have a vision too, and I think you coming on and kind of helping us work through the kinks of this. We're using a new by the way, everyone listening, we had an old audio interface last week. We're trying something new today, but we're gonna also try something else next week. It was a whole clusterfuck. I was running all over Delaware trying to get this device. I have to say, Rob, you sound awesome coming through. I like this setup. Like, I think this sounds great. I really like how this is, but you know, I just want to say thank you for coming on and taking the time to tell everyone your story, talk to us, shoot the shit. We're gonna be placing an order. And
that's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So once again, you said that code was for first time buyers. What was your code again?
HOFNEW20.
HOFNEW20, and I'll put it in the description as well. And then yeah. Thank you, Rob, so much. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I think this last thing I just want to say, anybody out there, soap is great, fragrances are great, and this is all great stuff. And I love what I do. I love being a part of it. And, I won't give up on it just because of the fact that so many people have helped me along the way. And you guys, they really have been amazing. But at the end of the day, guys, life's pretty short, and, soap is great, but if it becomes an obsession in your life to the point where it ruins your life, step back from it. And as somebody who sells this stuff to you, I'm not really supposed to be saying that, but I say it a lot.
Right.
No, because I truly believe it. I truly mean it, because if you're obsessed with this stuff to the point where it becomes unhealthy, I don't want to be your drug dealer per se.
And you can definitely see where people are like, you see a lot of people like, oh, I have to hide this package from my significant other. And it's like, yeah, okay, now there might, or if you can't afford a roof over your head. We had this conversation. At the end of the day, it is just soap. Like, it's amazing and it's awesome, makes you feel good, but like,
it's one component of your life.
It's one component. Don't let it consume everything. Don't let it take
it's not
over.
Your be all end all.
Yes, right.
And just don't let it consume you. And then, and anybody out there, again, like, if you have those mental health issues, again, I'm always around. And again, I'm not a professional, but I understand you. See, they don't. Professionals, they're working off of scripts and theory. I understand you. So if anybody out there has an issue, you need somebody to vent to, hit me up at any time, day or night, I'll answer. And, just take it day by day. And if anybody out there has ADHD and it's rough, you're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot more of us than you think. So just take it day by day and you'll be all right. And don't ever quit. And I know it sounds corny, hokey pokey. Don't quit, because if you quit, the dream dies.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Mr. Rob Cipolla of Hoffman's Grooming Company. And I have to do this because I have the ability to do this. Hold on. All right. Thank you for listening to Daddy's the Podcast, episode 7, and our first interview episode. We have a lot of interviews lined up. We're also looking for people to interview. We really dig this format. So if you are interested, please email us. Eric, what is our email?
Our email is support@daddiespodcast.com.
Also, we will put the new user code for Hoffman's in the description of this episode. Please only use it if you are a new purchaser, new buyer, but also it's really good stuff. So highly recommend. I'm Greg.
And I'm Eric.
And we are the Daddies. Thank you for listening.